Law and Order, SVU's Olivia Benson, Mariska Hargitay, and Elliot Stabler, Christopher Maloney, continue to be the procedural's most wished-for pairing, but some scenes suggest they should never consider romance. Benson and Stabler are work partners during the first 12 seasons of Law and Order, SVU. Stabler was married and raising 5 children at the time. One of Law and Order, SVU's best episodes revolves around his desperation to save his daughter from herself when her untreated bipolar disorder lands her behind bars. Stabler's status as a husband and father didn't make him and Benson any less of a popular couple, nor did his 10-year absence make a difference in how badly the fanbase wants these two together. Furthermore, the backdoor pilot to Law and Order, Organized Crime is a sad episode of Law and Order, SVU, in which Stabler's wife is killed in a car bombing. Kathy's, Isabel Gillies, death cleared the path for Stabler to eventually reunite with Benson, though the Law and Order franchise seemed to drop their romance altogether after they almost kissed in Law and Order, SVU Season 24. 10. Stabler leaves without saying goodbye. SVU Season 12, Episode 24, Smoked. Law and Order, SVU. Stabler crouches behind a desk holding his gun during an active shooter situation. Stabler's final episode of Law and Order, SVU is one of the series' most intense. In the final minutes, a girl who is angry that her mother's rape case isn't being handled quickly enough grabs a gun and begins shooting, putting everyone in the squad room in danger. Stabler is forced to shoot to kill, so it is understandable that he decides to leave the unit afterward. However, it was unconscionable that he turned his papers in without telling Benson that he was leaving. When Stabler returned in 2021, Benson struggled to forgive him for ghosting her. It's unsurprising that she was this upset. In the years since Stabler left, she went through several traumatic events, including a kidnapping at the hands of a violent perp who liked to torture his victims, yet Stabler never once reached out to see how she was doing. At best, Stabler took Benson for granted during the years he was missing. However, Benson deserves a partner who she can trust to be there for her no matter what is going on in their own lives. 9. Stabler doesn't respect Benson's boundaries when she doesn't want protection. SVU Season 1, Episode 8, Stalked. Law and Order SVU. Stabler standing in Benson's doorway wearing a suit and tie. Stalked was the first of several creepy Law and Order SVU episodes in which perps threatened Benson. In this particular case, Stabler is more worried than Benson when a local realtor she is investigating for the rape and murder of an assistant district attorney begins stalking her. Benson doesn't want Stabler's protection, but he shows up at her house anyway, claiming to just be in the neighborhood even though he lives in Queens rather than Manhattan. Benson takes this in stride, joking, "That's a lot of neighborhood, my friend." However, Stabler's impromptu visit to check on her is a violation of her boundaries. Stabler's need to always be the protector makes him a less than desirable partner for a strong, independent woman like Benson, especially if he is going to ignore her wishes to check on her safety. He deserved more anger than he got for that choice, even if he only had Benson's best interests in mind when he decided to show up at her home. 8. Benson encourages Stabler to work things out with Kathy during a rough patch. SVU Season 6, Episode 8, Doubt. Stabler holding Kathy in Law and Order, SVU. The Stablers go through a rough patch during Season 6. Kathy feels that her husband is working too many hours and sometimes is jealous of Benson, who sees him more than she does. Ironically, Stabler and Benson fight more during this period than any other. Stabler tended to take the side of jilted lovers and those who were in the middle of messy divorces after he and Kathy separated, and that led him to snipe at Benson when she disagreed with his assessment. That in and of itself is a red flag when it comes to this couple. However, the more important aspect of this arc is that Benson is fully on the side of Stabler and his wife working through their problems. Benson even tells Stabler that he is going to lose the best thing that ever happened to him if he doesn't straighten out his marriage. This exchange demonstrates how Benson saw the deep love Kathy and Elliot Stabler had for each other and that it was Kathy and Stabler who were supposed to be the unbreakable couple. Stabler would have been unable to have a relationship with Benson soon after his return. He continually gets involved in undercover work, which takes him away for weeks at a time. Additionally, he crosses the line several times with women he is investigating. During Season 1, Stabler gets close to Angela Wheatley, Tamara Taylor, playing a dangerous game because of her husband Richard's, Dylan McDermott, narcissism. He then follows this up by seducing the wife of an Albanian mob boss in Law and Order, Organized Crime Season 2. It's questionable whether Stabler was actually interested in these women, as opposed to seducing them to get information that he needed to put their seemingly untouchable husbands behind bars. However, it's equally questionable how committed he is to Benson if he so easily does these things. No one is forcing him to use sex to get what he wants, and he seems to bear no guilt for his choices during these cases.